Hey there, welcome to Might Be Awesome. My name is Sam Basher.
And I'm DJ Woldridge.
And today we're talking about a very special movie, specifically El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie coming straight to Netflix. Should be live this Friday. It's in select screenings as well. If you're able to get your butts out there and go see it, and we recommend
get your butt out.
That you do. That's an early review.
Go get your butt out.
Quickie synopsis. After escaping Jack and his gang, Jesse Pinkman goes on the run from the police and tries to escape his own inner turmoil. Spoilers for Breaking Bad, the show. Probably. At the very least, we're going to have to talk about that to review this, but it will be a spoiler-free review of the movie.
Yeah, so the movie's spoiler-free, but, I mean, if you haven't finished watching Breaking Bad, what are you doing?
It's a Breaking Bad movie.
It is a Breaking Bad movie. I was reading that Vince Gilligan said that he thought people would enjoy this movie the most if they'd watched the show.
Oh, yeah.
I will say early thoughts on the movie. I think for the most part, like 90% of it, I think will work if you've never seen Breaking Bad. But there are a few like low key but important nods to things that if you haven't will make no sense. Like the movie doesn't give you almost any context for. Mm-hmm. But it is a sequel. I think as good as this movie is, and I do think it's really good. It's like if you were watching Spider-Man 2. And you missed the subtle reference to Spider-Man 1. It's like, well, it is a sequel. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it's not necessarily meant to stand on its own.
You call it a sequel, and I think as we were leaving, we kind of... A good term for this is epilogue, where
yeah, 100%.
It's very much supposed to be that the story's over.
Yeah.
And really, this is just to make sure one character kind of gets out of it in some way.
Yeah.
In, like, barely a good way, but
the
like...
best way...
Maybe
see if he can accomplish his best escape possible.
There you go.
Reading into this, apparently Vince Gilligan, the creator of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul and El Camino, had ideas for this. Like as he was wondering himself, like what would Jesse's escape entail when they were making Felina the last episode of Breaking Bad, and that kind of coalesced around the 10th anniversary of the show. And him making and pitching this script. And I think it works really well as an epilogue. It's a really great way to revisit a lot of these characters in a way that's organic and makes sense. And also with somebody that just likes kick-ass crime thriller escape movies, it's amazing. Mm-hmm.
So I think it's fair to say that we're both fans of Breaking Bad. I'm going to say you are about 10 times the fan that I am because I watched it all as the finale finished a week before, and I was like, and now I'm getting to watch it. And it was a really fun way to watch it, to get all the way through, because I know
finale happened a week later, then you watched the whole
thing.
Got it.
But whatever, I became a fan after that. I was going to give an explanation of that. We can do an episode on that on the podcast, onlysoonanswers.com, and we should talk about that. It'll be a fun
I wouldn't mind having a spoiler discussion about this on the podcast.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because this movie kicks all kinds of ass. Yeah. And you're a fan of Better Call Saul.
Yes, very much so.
So when they talked about making this movie, I'm like, there's no way that this isn't like pretty good at the very least, right? Like there's no way that this isn't just enjoyable, especially if you're a fan. You're going to get a lot of moments that are going to make you feel good, and that's what you do get from this movie. We were lucky enough to go to the premiere of this, which was really cool over in Westwood, and we saw Aaron Paul and...
Brian
help me out
Cranston.
here.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Brian Cranston.
I was going to say Walter White.
Giancarlo Esposito. Jonathan
was
Banks.
there.
Mark Hamill was there.
Don't worry, that's not a spoiler. He was just visiting.
Yeah, he's not in the movie. Your boy from Queer Eye.
He was. Bobby Burke. Yeah, he was there.
Mark Maron
was there. Again, we're just saying who attended.
And then this person. No.
Yeah. So we were having a pretty good time, and so it was a fun way to watch this movie. And for me, someone who's only visited the show once, and now after seeing this, I'm like, I think I need to revisit the show. I
highly recommend it
because there are some references that are definitely aren't subtle nods to things in the show that are important, and I wish that I had known because I had to ask you after the film. Yeah. And also watching this on Netflix is helpful because you could just stop and be like, okay, what is this? Who is this? You can understand it better. But wow, top to tail, from director and writer Vince Gilligan and from Aaron Paul, and an amazing cast. The performances and the way that they tell the story is phenomenal. You get a lot of moments where in Breaking Bad it was iconic when they would get really creative with their camera work, and that's no different in this film. You're able to see some shots where it's like, oh, and then that's movie money. That's a season's worth of money used for one I'd say about an hour and a half. Let me go ahead and look up the runtime really quick. But no, you can see that the money was used well in this
100%.
movie. Excuse me, 2 hours 2 minutes. So you get full 2 episodes worth.
Oh snap!
Yeah,
but this is definitely it's 2 episodes in length, but it's a movie's worth of story. One thing I do like about it though is I think there was some concern with me is that this would be too much like a victory lap or something like that, like too indulgent. And it's not. It's very much, the stakes are huge for Jesse, but as far as like Albuquerque, like he's no longer the biggest meth kingpin, whatever. It's very, the threats are very middle management. Like it's a very low key personal story. And it's interesting with people that like watch the show and everything. I think the things you remember, the things that stick out with Jesse is like him saying bitch a lot, like magnets bitch, all that stuff. But what you forget is that there's very few people good at desperate crying as Aaron Paul is. And like the range of performance he provided in that, as flashy as it was, especially compared to Bryan Cranston as Walter, as nuanced as it was. And that's, all of it's on display here. All the whole range of who Jesse is and was and who he's becoming is in it. And there's one scene in particular, I remember you mentioned it last night, but it was one that really stuck with me as well, where there's it's not a Mexican standoff, but there is a standoff of sorts. And the desperation that Aaron Paul conveys as Jesse is palpable. And it's those moments and the character stuff. I think the thing that I love about this, and it is just the oddballs that populate this version of Albuquerque that these characters just can't help but like escape. They can't escape the orbit of. They just keep running into these weirdos. You know what I mean? And the way that those interactions play out is very nuanced and interesting. And it's what I love about this show, this movie, the Breaking Bad show, and Better Call Saul. And I think it's interesting because I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, Better Call Saul is better than Breaking Bad." Better Call Saul emphasizes different aspects of what Breaking Bad had, and I think it's like Better Call Saul goes this direction, and El Camino kind of goes this direction, but with the same influences. El Camino is a little bit more crime focused, a little pulpier than Better Call Saul is, but it's all in the DNA, that Breaking Bad DNA that was there, and I kind of hope, give me more, like just keep spinning off other Albuquerque weirdos that exist in this space for some reason.
An Albuquerque cinematic universe.
I'm all for it.
I did want to give a shout out to a specific actor, and I don't need to go into his role, but he is a new character for the movie. Scott MacArthur, he's in Righteous Gemstones, he was in The Mick, and his role throughout this entire movie just kind of cements, since my first interaction with him is in Righteous Gemstones. And now seeing that like he's been working with a lot of the bigger comedic actors, current comedic actors, and he has a cool relationship with all those people, and seeing him in a more serious role, I'd say, in this, or it's less comedic in this role, and
similar character,
and similar motivations. And I'm a big fan now. I can confidently say I'm excited to see what he does next. And it's one of those actors where, since he is like starting out, he's going to be in like smaller roles, but I think I might check out movies or TV shows that he's in because I trust that he's going to give a really good performance.
He's
and
really
he does
good.
give a good performance.
You know how I would describe the roles he's played in that is he is the star scream. Like he's not number one bad guy, but he's the bad guy that wants to be the number one bad guy. You know what I mean? And he might not get number one bad guy's face, but he's always just scheming in the background. You know what I mean? He was really good. And it was funny because when we were there, we were like, wait, is that him?
Yeah.
Is that it? And then we saw the movie. It's like, oh, it was him.
Yeah. As soon as you hear him talk, you're like, and you have an iconic voice. I'm excited for you to do voice acting. But back to our core cast. It was cool to see the returning characters that we did see. Yeah. Keeping it vague for you guys. And seeing the way that they have grown after the events of the show, because the timeline for this is meant to be exactly after the events of the last of the finale of Breaking Bad, and it's fair to say. Yeah. So the growth and the characters are basically the same when you saw them then, but revisiting that and remembering the things that they all had to go through in different circumstances and in different instances, it's still I don't want to say it kind of made my heart feel good, but in a way that I'm like, oh God, they've been through a hell. But it's good to see that they're okay, or to the extent that they are. And also there are, in this movie, I think it's fair to say that there are flashbacks to fill out the runtime of this movie. And flashbacks not to things you've already seen, it's to events that we did not get to see during the series. And those moments are really well done. Specifically, there's one with just Aaron Paul and one other character, and but I'm trying to keep it as vague as possible, where it's them throughout an entire day. And that entire sequence is both hilarious, it's dark, and it really emotionally gut-wrenching. And of course, Aaron Paul does an amazing performance through all of it. I really hope that he gets to do more things like this, not just like Breaking Bad movies, because I've heard that there have been like rumblings of maybe that there will be other ones. I hope this might be it for his character, but I do want to see more of, like you said, this Albuquerque like weird bonkers universe, but also I want to see more from Aaron Paul like this performance in other properties.
100%. He's really good in The Path. I had mixed feelings on that show, but he's really good in it, and so I hope this just continues to be amazing work for him. You know what I mean? Yeah. Big. I was a little worried going in, but a big fan. It's a nice epilogue, and it also kind of rectifies one of the issues I had with the Breaking Bad finale, because one of the issues I had with the last season is it's Jesse and Walt were separate for most of it, and it really didn't. Jesse was like sidelined, and for me, that was the core of the show. The Walt-Jesse relationship was the core of the show, and so when that really didn't factor so much into the end game, it wasn't as rewarding as I wanted, and now it's like, well, okay, here's the Jesse shit. Like, here's that, you know what I mean? And so I think it's a good, as far as this particular story goes, like you said, I'm fine if we leave it here, but if we want to, we've got Nacho and Better Call Saul, if we want to make a show on him, if we want to flash back to young Gus as he's building his empire, any of that stuff, so young Mike, whatever, we just do the de-aging technology on Jonathan Banks,
and we're good to go. I agree. I would love more of this, and I want to hear from you guys. I will be rewatching this movie again. There is no post-credit scene if you were looking for something like that. As far as we saw, they were shuttling us out pretty quick. So, but sometimes after premieres, they do add things to movies. I don't think that would happen for this, but. Could happen. We want to rate this. And we want to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Out of 10, I would give this movie a solid like 9 or 9.5. Honestly, like I was gonna say to its detriment, like there are things that you need to know by watching the show to understand in the movie, but like it says it's a Breaking Bad movie, so it's like not really a criticism, but like. I don't think it's like a 10 out of 10.
If you're going in cold, I mean...
You're going to have some trouble, but like overall, I'd give it like a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, 9 or 9.5. I agree with that, 100%. I really enjoyed it. It was good to be back there, but it didn't rest on that nostalgia to be like, cool, we're good to go. No, like it actually told a compelling story with great acting and great characters, and it was a real treat.
It was such a treat. There is one shot in particular. It is I'd call it like a time lapse sequence.
One of the classic Breaking Bad. You know you're gonna get one.
Yeah, and when you see the way that they specifically capture it, it's like that's what that sweet cash.
That's where that movie money came in.
That's beautiful. It was so cool. It's kind of like that flavor of like Wes Anderson when you see like a really nicely organized shot. You're like,
Yeah.
Like in Life Aquatic when they move through the boat. Very similar. So let us know what you think of this movie in the comments down below. And also what other movies you want to see from Vince Gilligan in this universe. Or maybe just Vince Gilligan doing something else. I'm also interested. So let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and check out Super TV Showdowns, the show where we review all the superhero shows that the TV has to offer over at patreon.com/OnlyStupidAnswers. Thursdays, 3 p.m. with our friend Roxy Stryer. We're talking about all of them leading up to Crisis on Infinite Earths. So let us know what else we should be talking about in the comments down below. But until next time, we'll see you then.
Bye.